Okay, 1.0 prerequisite skills for trigonometry. So first we're going to take a look at solving equations. So example 1, solve. We have for A, x squared equals 49. So when we see x squared equals 49, what we're doing is we're solving for x. We need to get the x alone. So what we want to do is we want to reverse this squared on it. Okay, what is the opposite of squaring something? Okay, so squaring something, the opposite is square rooting. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that x squared equals 49, and we're going to square root the left side and square root the right side. Okay, what you do the right-hand side, you do the left-hand side. Okay, it's going to be even, it's going to be balanced. And this squared root goes away. And we're left with x on the left-hand side. And now root 49, the square root of 49 is 7. But when we're solving, it's actually two different numbers. It's plus 7 and minus 7. Okay, and that equals 49. So just to show you, 7 times 7 equals 49. So that's one solution where it's like the positive 7. And negative 7 times negative 7 also equals 49. So that's another solution, the negative 7. B. So now we have x squared minus 4 equals 21. So when I look at this, I think to myself, the negative 4 and the 21 would be like terms, right? They're just normal numbers. We've been dealing with them since elementary school, okay? But the issue is they're on the opposite sides of the equal sign. So we have to bring this negative 4 to this side. And when we do that, what we do is we reverse the sign. So this is going to become x squared equals, okay, 21 is already on this side. And now negative 4 becomes positive 4. Right? We reverse the sign that's in front. So the sign right now is negative 4, becomes positive 4. Okay, so x squared equals, and then this is actually 25, right? 21 plus 4 is 25. And then what happens is we're kind of back to here, where we think to ourselves, how can we get the squared off of the x? Well, we square root both sides. So we end up getting x equals plus or minus 5. Okay, two solutions, plus 5 and minus 5. And we write those stacked. You could also write the answers as x equals 5 and x equals negative 5. And either way, this way or this way, it's correct. Okay, and C, 64 plus x squared equals 185. So I look at this and 64 and 185 are like terms. The issue is they're on opposite sides of the equal sign. So I'm going to take this positive 64, bring it over, and it becomes a negative 64. So now we have x squared equals 185 minus 64. Okay, so 185 minus 64, we get 121. So bring down the x squared, bring down the equal sign, and then this simplifies to 121. Okay, and then we're back to the start. We root both sides. The squared and the square root cancel out. And we get x equals plus or minus 11. Okay, now let's review the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so just to write out Pythagorean's theorem, the equation is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, we've been seeing this since about grade 8. And a and b are called the legs. Okay, that just means like the two legs that meet at 90 degrees. Okay, so we can go meet at 90 degrees. But the c is particular. The c value is the hypotenuse. Okay, so you can put the a and the b values, those are interchangeable, but the c must be the hypotenuse. Okay, and the hypotenuse is the longest side. You can also put opposite the 90-degree angle. Okay, so example 2, find the measure of the unknown side. So we have 28 and b. Okay, 28 and b meet at this 90 degrees. So let's call this A. Okay, and then opposite is going to be the hypotenuse. This is going to be the c value. This is the hypotenuse. So if we have a squared plus b squared equals c squared, because I always like to start off with the equation, what we can do is we can sub in 28 for a, so we get 28 squared. Okay, b we're going to leave as b, so plus b squared, and c is going to be 35, so 35 squared. So let's go ahead and plug in 28 squared to our calculator. Okay, we get 784. Bring down the plus sign, bring down the b squared. And let's go ahead and do 35 squared in our calculator. We get 1225. Okay, and at this point, we're back to where we were in question 1. Let's take positive 784. Let's bring it to the other side, and it becomes negative 784. Okay, so 1225 minus 784, we get 441. B squared equals 441. So let's go ahead and root both sides, and we get B equals 21. 21 is measured in centimeters. So I want to talk about this. So in regards to this being length, I know that in the first question, when we're solving in general, the B is going to have 2 solutions. However, because we're talking about a length, okay, so we can like put a little star, lengths will always be positive. Okay, you can't go outside and be like, oh, I'm going to go around negative 5 kilometers around the block. It doesn't make sense, okay? So lengths will always be positive. Okay? All right, B. Let's write out our equation again. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So A and B meet at these 90 degrees. It doesn't matter. I can call 6A, I could call 10A. I could call 6B, I could call 10B. Just make sure one is A and one is B. Okay? It won't matter in the end. A and B are interchangeable. So we'll call 6A, 10B, and then C is actually going to be our C. It's opposite the 90-degree angle. So let's go 6 squared, right? A squared, 6 squared, plus 10 squared equals C squared. Okay, let's put it into our calculator. 6 squared is 36. 10 squared is 100. And then we're just going to bring down the equal sign and the C squared. Okay, so 36 and 100 are like terms. I get 136 equals C squared. So in order to solve for C, right now there's c squared. The opposite of squaring something is square rooting it. So let's square root both sides. And we're going to end up with c equals, and this ends up being 11.66, and it's only approximate, which is okay. Okay, and this is going to be centimeters. And again, only the positive answer because it's a length. Okay, moving on to ratios. So express each ratio in the lowest terms. So if we have 6 to 12, what we're looking for is a number that 6 and 12 can both divide by. Okay, I can see the biggest number here, but let's say that you look at this and you can't really figure it out, but you know both of these numbers are even numbers. So let's just divide by 2. Let's try it, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to divide each of these numbers by the same number. Okay, so 6 divided by 2 is going to be 3, and 12 divided by 2 is going to be 6. Okay, and maybe at this point you're saying to yourself, oh, 3 and 6 can both divide by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 6 divided by 3 is 3. So all of these are equivalent ratios, but the 1 to 3 is the lowest terms. Okay, and you can think of this as if you're mixing juice, or if you're mixing pancakes, or like this could be rice to water, right? 1 part rice, 3 parts water. Or if you have a whole family to feed, you might want to do 3 parts rice, 6 parts water, right? It could be cups, it could be anything, okay? Now let's try 15 to 20. So I'm just going to rewrite 15 to 20. And when I look at 15 and 20, I know that these both divide by 5. So I get 15 divided by 5 is 3. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So I get 3 to 4. I apologize. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Okay, example 4. The ratio between juice concentrate and water is 5 parts concentrate, so concentrate. And when we say like concentrate to water, we put the colon, is 5 parts concentrate, it's just 5, and 15 parts water, so 5 to 15. Write this as a ratio, which we did, and then reduce it to the lowest terms. Well, when I look at 5 and 15, I know that both of these divide by 5. So I get 1 colon, and then 15 divided by 5 is 3. Okay, 1 part concentrate, 3 parts water. All right, we're going to continue on with proportions. So ratios show proportions, but so do fractions, okay? So we can either write them with like the colon between them, say like x colon y, right, 2 numbers, or we can write them as fractions. So I'm going to rewrite this kind of big so I can I can work with it. X over 5 equals 7 over 16. Now, when the x is in the numerator, it's quite easy to deal with, okay? It's easy to work with. So the x and the 16 work on a rope here for like cross multiplication, and the 5 and the 7 work on a rope as well. So here's the thing. A lot of people, when they do cross multiplication, they insist on moving everything up, okay? So you could move the 16 up and get 16x, and then you can move the 5 up, so like it'd be 5 times 7, which is 35. Okay, but here's the thing, this 16 in the denominator here, like we want x by itself. So then we're going to have to divide both sides by 16 anyways, getting rid of these. So x equals 35 over 16. Okay, we could have just left that 16 in the denominator. Either way you want to do it, it's totally fine. All right, so we have 16 equals 4 over x. So essentially this is 16 over 1. Okay, we don't have to write that. But the x and the 16 work on a rope. The 1 and the 4 work on a rope. Okay, so the 1 can go up, 4 can go down, x can go up, 16 can go down. Okay, so let's bring the x up. We're going to get 16x equals, and obviously 1 times 4, like we don't really even have to worry about that. Okay, so 16x equals 4. Now because there's a 16 on the x, wow, replica of the other side, we are going to divide both sides by 16. So these two 16s, 16 over 16 cancels out, and we get x equals 4 over 16. Now, thinking about the number 4 and the number 16, let's actually put that into lowest terms. So 4 divides by 4, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. And 16 can divide by 4, and that's going to equal 4. So x equals a quarter. Okay, now angle sum of a triangle. Okay, as a review, if you have any triangle and you have the 3 angles, oh, let's call this x, y, and z. Okay, when we add up these 3 numbers, x, y, and z, whatever numbers they are, it's going to equal 180. Okay, so example 6a, we have 2 angles. We have 63, and we actually have 90 degrees just by them putting a box in the corner here. So we know that we have to just solve for c. Okay, because it says determine the measure of the missing angles. So 63 plus 90 plus c is going to equal 180. So if you go into your calculator and you put 63 plus 90, we're going to get 153 plus c equals 180. Remember, this plus sign, this c, this is all just flowing down our page, okay? And we're going to take our 153, we're going to move it to the other side, and we're going to get c equals 180, but the 153 changes to negative 153. Okay, so that angle is actually 27 degrees. Okay, so in B, we have 3 angles. We have 28, 110, and B. So we know that 28 plus 110 plus B is going to equal 180 degrees. Okay, so 110 plus 28 is going to be 138. And we're going to take that number and we're going to bring it over to the other side, and it is going to become negative 138. Okay, so 180 minus 138 is going to give us 42 degrees.